All right.
Hi, everyone. This is Willie. Oklahoma has something to tell you.
What's up, everybody? This is the Oklahoma Prepper. I don't know if you can see me or not. I don't know what's going on. Let me turn off my other devices. Oh my goodness, I hate my voice. All right. Obviously, I fail at life. I apologize. I don't know what is going on. My
It isn't
YouTube...
your fault because I was looking at the screen and it's not giving the option to start the Hangout on air. So YouTube is glitching or something. It's not his fault. It's not user error.
It's not giving me the options that Oily says are supposed to be there. I'm sounding like a chipmunk, or I have no idea. I'm going to close out of this and close out of Skype, because apparently that could be it. All right, I apologize, everyone. That was all not supposed to go that way. Obviously, it did. I apologize. I will try to figure out what happened and fix it. If it's on YouTube's part, then really, YouTube, this is getting old. I mean, come on. You're trying to block us from using Steemit with our YouTube links. You and Google are fighting. Don't take it out on us. Come on, really. All right, so what this chat was supposed to be about was kind of a heads up as to what to expect on this next upcoming, I'm going to call it a season, because I mean, I'm going to start taking summer breaks off, because I hate doing anything in the summer. It's too hot. I guess I was an Eskimo in my former life. So just kind of recap of what I've done in the past. Survival Shelter Sunday had some technical difficulties with my gear on that, so that is going to come back and be better. I'm going to try to do some more reviews on some more stuff that we have, some more survival items that we can probably try to use during SHTF situations or bug out situations. Let me see. I'm having to go into my YouTube channel to see what I've done. I don't even remember what I've done. I'm going to be, what I'm going to be doing a lot more of this upcoming season is absolutely doing a lot of overnight series, overnight shows. There's going to be a series of overnight videos, more how to do this and how to do that videos. If you're in a situation such as, if you guys are just in a naked and afraid type scenario, you guys can be able to go out and build your own cutting weapons, knives, stuff like that. How to build weapons out of sticks and cordage, how to build your own cordage, a lot of that stuff. I apologize. This has really just got me so frustrated and that I can't even focus. Let's see.
It's
what
all
do
good.
I have in?
I understand that we've all been to chats where there have been glitches and stuff. I've had it happen to me. It's just YouTube changing stuff up and bandwidth issues and stuff like that. It's just normal stuff, and they understand.
Well, I guess that's that's what I get on my first attempt at a live stream.
It happens.
Yeah. I'm really not happy with how things went. I had several people there in chat, and I apologize. I want to apologize to everyone in chat that just got fed up. I'm still garbled.
You're still garbled?
That's what I'm seeing in chat.
My sound is still garbled.
You are to me as well, but I thought it was just me.
My bandwidth is. Let me turn off the internet on my phone and.
Yeah, that's what I did. I shut off my Wi-Fi to my phone, and I'm going to close out. I'm going to go ahead and turn off Wi-Fi on my computer as well. So I have no devices except for what I'm talking to you guys on. There's nothing I can do.
Okay. Am I still garbled now? Do I still sound garbled to you?
You are to me. And I've restarted my router before the chat, so I'm not sure what it could be.
My husband is watching Netflix, and that may be why, because it's taking up bandwidth.
Well.
So I will talk on the external.
Okay.
And let you do the chat.
Okay. All right. So once again, I apologize for everything that went wrong tonight because everything that could go wrong did go wrong. I'm going to make an attempt at this later on when Oily has time to hold my hand and walk me through it, because obviously I'm not adult enough to use YouTube. That's really going to be. This is turning into a rant. So I apologize again. Back to what we were talking. So I plan on doing a lot more. I guess more actual going out and doing stuff. I'm going to be doing some overnight bushcraft, some fishing hikes, fishing trips, hiking trips, camping trips, just going out on day hikes and stuff, and taking you guys along with me and kind of showing you how to do stuff to kind of be a little more prepared for if you get caught out in the wild with nothing on you, how to make weapons, how to make a knife with nothing but your hands. Nothing but your hands. So that should be interesting. Oh man, I had everything just all planned out, and then this happened, and it just all went. But okay, so my live chat was going to be from 8 to 9 tonight. It's already 9 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and get ready to get off here. But I will be recording another video here in just a minute and posting it on my channel for those of you who were in chat. Kind of a second video to this to kind of explain to the other guys that are not in right now that we're hoping to see me, and we'll try to get things figured out. So,
is my volume better now? Is my sound better? I mean,
no, I don't even know if mine is. It is to me.
Now. Let me turn my bandwidth down lower. Hold on. All right, now how does it sound?
Mac and cheese. That sounds a lot better.
A lot better? Okay. Thank you for that suggestion.
I can read the box if you want.
So we'll stay on. We'll stay on. So y'all don't leave. I know Oklahoma's got to get off here, but that's okay. And we understand you being frustrated, but believe me, it's happened to me too.
I had fun in the text chat making fun of Oklahoma.
I know. I was going over every once in a while. I was like, oh. I mean, I wasn't getting mad at you guys, but for everybody in stream, are we still live? My computer.
Yeah,
looks live to me.
I'm gonna stay on for a while. So.
Yeah, I got my Glock, I got my mac and cheese, and I got a Jack Daniels, so I'm good to go.
Very good. That's a
What,
great
what do you want me to? What do you want me to rant about?
YouTube. Just tell YouTube they need to fix stuff.
YouTube
Well, they may
fix
be
your
shutting
shit.
these chats down altogether. So,
Really?
yep.
They don't want us radical
Nope.
people.
They don't want anything.
They don't want
it's,
EMT techs.
they're not going to be on YouTube.
Anybody from Oklahoma or like 53-year-old cardiac patients on YouTube making radical statements like, make sure you have enough water.
All right. So that being said, guys, I want to say thank y'all for bearing with me and thank y'all for checking me out for the little 10 minutes that I got on here. But I will try to get a better schedule for you guys. Try to come up with better scheduling. Try to hopefully make sure all this works by the time I get up on my next live stream.
We'll make a plan for the next day or two to work on that, Oklahoma. Like we'll. Hey, Freedom Bush Crap. Hey, Alan, how are you doing? Yeah, we'll do that. We'll get it worked out. It may just be that they're phasing people out. They completely shut down American Homestead.
What?
Really?
Yep, their channel, they completely shut them down. So they're just basically only over on Steemit and DTube now, which looks kind of like YouTube.
I wonder
they still got
if they
kinks over there. So
if they don't like my Mountain House review, will they shut me down?
it's possible.
I got a really nice NRA store leather briefcase with a CC. It's a NRA Rio Bravo CCW leather briefcase, and I mean, for $230, I mean, if you were to pay a leather worker $10 an hour, he couldn't put that together in 23 hours. And it's all YKK zippers, and it's got for the place where your handgun is supposed to be concealed, they have a locking zipper. So it's like compliant with any state law that says if you transport a firearm, it has to be in a locked container made for a firearm. Because it is. I mean, it's like YKK are like the heavy duty big zippers. I mean, I'll throw some oil on them or WD-40 or something to oil the zippers, but it was really high quality leather, great work. You know, right now I'm going to do a video on it tomorrow. Sunlight wasn't too good today, so I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah. But it is, I'm just like totally stoked. It's a great little satchel for carrying whatever you need, like gold, silver. When it looks like the economy is having some major problems, Fitch might be downgrading U.S. debt if they don't raise the debt ceiling, or even if they do. And Connecticut is broke, Illinois is broke, and well, Bitcoin is soaring. And I almost yelled at the computer or at the TV today. So I put in Gone with the Wind. I got the DVD, the 70-year anniversary DVD of Gone with the Wind. I was talking about that in the text on Frank's chat. And it has a commentary. Ivan was watching that. And 10 Academy Award for that. But I was watching Bloomberg before I decided I just better put in a DVD because I'm just going to get angry and raise my blood pressure, because they actually had some people come on. They wanted to talk about Bitcoin on Bloomberg Business Channel because it's a hot topic, and so they have one guy who's supposed to know about Bitcoin and one like average investor saying it's like wolf in wolf's clothing. And so the good news is that they think there's going to be another attempt to get they presented it as good news, but it really wasn't. The SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission, is going to have another review of having an exchange-traded fund for Bitcoin, an ETF, and COMEX wants to trade it. And the guy comes on the air, and the first thing out of his mouth is that, oh yeah, it's great that they're going to have Bitcoin on the COMEX is going to have an exchange-traded ETF, and they're going to trade futures and options on it the same way, and they're going to keep Bitcoin on the COMEX for the ETF the same way they keep gold for the GLD exchange traded fund. But they don't keep any gold. That's just it was like, so you're saying they're not going to give any gold, any Bitcoin back in this Bitcoin, and it's like, I wish them luck, because that Bitcoin is so volatile. I don't see how an exchange traded fund could possibly keep up. I mean, Bitcoin just trades. It's like there's people buying it and there's people selling it, and that determines the price. What they want to do is the banks want to control it all, and it's like it won't work. It's going to be impervious to whatever they do, but they're going to try it, and it's going to be like a disaster. And it was like soaring up today. You know, I don't know if it hit a new high. It hit 4,500 at one point a couple days ago, but it's been really volatile. It's been down to 3,800, up to 4,500. But I've been enjoying the ride because I don't need to sell it. It just every few days a little more gets added from Genesis Mining, and all their Bitcoin hash power has been sold out. You can't buy any more from them right now. Exodus.io, the blockchain wallet, they just upgraded it. Well, they didn't, not that they upgraded it. They have a beta version of a new wallet. So I'm not going to actually use it, but it's going to have a lot more Bitcoins on it, because I just don't want to be on the bleeding edge of data software. But it's I forgot what they called it. Eden. That's what they're going to call it. And so it's available now, but it's a beta version. I'm not going to use it, but it looks like you can have Bitcoin Cash and a lot of other altcoins on there, and not just the smaller selection that's on Exodus.io blockchain wallet right now. But in Kona, I've been dealing with we've all been dealing with the fact, one, there's only one water well working on the entire west side of the island, because Department of Water Services, run by government employees who can't be fired. First they like when 5 wells went down, that 4 wells went down, and then a 5th one went down. They got one replacement pump in after saying how hard it was to get these pumps and how it takes a year, because they're like, it's 1,900 feet down the aquifer wells, and it has to have a certain horsepower rating to be able to pump up the water from that deep. So they got the first one they got in, they accidentally dropped it down the well.
God.
You know, and so that was good. And so they yesterday they got another one in, and it was broken. So somebody made a suggestion. Well,
Wow.
I know, and it's like basically it takes a year to build one of these engines to specifications for these, and right, a year without water, and the problem is, one problem is because they're telling everybody, okay, you have to. I mean, there's nobody enforcing it, but they're telling everybody to use less water, no irrigation, no washing your car. I mean, I drove through the gas station has a drive-through car wash. I did that yesterday. It was still up, but you know, there's not enough water for everybody. Eventually, there's just going to be supply outages for water, and it's that. But everybody is conserving water. They're taking, you know, they put out the no irrigation, no car washing, no flushing the toilet more than once a day, no take short showers, and all that stuff. And so if people are doing that, and as a consequence, their water revenue from the Water Department of Service, their bills that they're going to go out, people are using less water, they're going to bill less. They aren't going to have the money to pay for these expensive pumps that take a year to build.
Oh my gosh.
And so it's not that there's not enough water. It's down there in the aquifers. It's just that they can't keep the pumps working. And these government employees can't be fired. So, but the good news, the funny news is the state of Hawaii is preparing for an attack by North Korea. So they've hooked they've lost, if people may follow what I say, they actually lost track of on Oahu where the nuclear fallout shelters were. They don't know. They lost like over a dozen nuclear fallout shelters. They don't know what happened to them. You know, underground concrete bunkers. I don't know how you lose one of those, but they lost 12. And so what they've done is they've hooked up the regular civil defense siren that goes off like the first Tuesday of every month or whatever it is. They have a new special siren that only this Honolulu state government, Honolulu, can that goes off only in the event of a nuclear attack. It's a special kind of siren tone. Only used for nuclear attack. Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, hey, Oily, real quick, I apologize. I want to hear the rest of it. Oily, I just set up a new one and it's giving me the option to start it on Hangouts.
Oh, yeah?
Oh my goodness, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa, so I think some coin just hit my blockchain wallet.
It's up to everybody if we want to, hey, I'm on it. It's all up to you if you want to try to start one or you just want to let me know it seems to be working now.
I'm going to try to start one, but this is not going to be public. I'm just going to try to get it, try to figure out how to do that.
I'll keep ranting on Oily's channel until you tell me to come over and rant on your channel. So basically, we're going to have a siren in case there's a nuclear attack.
Oh my goodness.
And I was saying, but what we really need a siren for is in case there's basically they've spent billions of dollars on the Honolulu rail transit system, and it's like a boondoggle. They're out, the state's out of money, and they need to. If they don't finish it, the federal government's going to demand all their money back that they gave the state to build this thing, and it's so over budget with all the state, favorite contractors getting the contracts that it's like they have to raise everyone taxes on the outer island to pay for the Honolulu rail system. So I like a siren. They're $10 billion over budget. So they need to raise our taxes by $10 billion to pay for it. So I like a siren to go off when they raise our taxes $10 billion. I want a special sound for that.
No kidding. Well, and the bad thing is I mean, they set that their with the liberal spending, and that's what happens whenever you have the liberals. I'm sorry, they're for all of these programs and stuff, and it breaks the system is all it does. I've never seen a socialistic government that has succeeded as of yet.
It doesn't work, yeah. But let me just finish my suggestion. I posted on the local newspapers that when the nuclear sirens go off, all the leaders of all the important state government officials who we need so much, they need the only place that they can, be safe from a nuclear attack is deep underground. So they should all just jump into the aquifer wells and stay there until it's safe to come out. I mean, it's 2,000 feet under rock, so that they'll be safe from nuclear radiation. It's just that there's probably no way for them to get back out, which we will all be better off. It's safe for them to stay down there, for us. So anyway, and also yesterday one of the guys in the building, his wife left him and went to Vegas to fool around with anybody else but him, and so he got a can of gasoline and threatened to burn building 3 down. So they had to call the police. I was like, dude, why don't you burn down building 1? The president of the board is a real idiot, and he owns that unit, burning down the wrong building. Anyway, it's just, if you live in Connecticut or Illinois, I keep saying but you will know exactly what I'm talking about, because the funny thing is, like, when they passed $1 million in Chicago, $1 million retirements for every school teacher in the city of Chicago, but they never funded it. They may have thought they didn't have to because the state constitution demands, it's enshrined in the state constitution that all pensions be paid first to the retirees of government employees. So the only problem is nobody ever allocated any money for it, and they're dead broke.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you. Yeah, my son decided to call in the middle of you talking, so that's why I wasn't answering you. I was hearing you, but I couldn't answer you back.
That's okay. I could rant whether people are paying attention to me or not. I was ranting all morning without even having broadcast about this. When that guy came on YouTube and said, they're going to set it up just like the gold ETF. And they're going to keep just as much Bitcoin so that in their vaults as they keep gold. There's no gold in the vaults. It's just a paper. It's phony gold. They're going to keep doing this phony Bitcoin? I don't think so. It'll. I don't know. It's pretty volatile. I don't think they can do it. But the banks are scared to death of Bitcoin. They're scared to death of the debt ceiling. They're scared to death of if the debt ceiling is passed, what happens to the currency? They're scared to if the government shuts down, what happens to the currency? They're just plain old scared. And so there's going to be U.S. government debt downgrades, and it won't be just the U.S. It'll be other countries. And so I'm glad I've got some silver and gold, a little bit of Bitcoin, and I bought 2 more Mountain House bags yesterday when I was at Walmart. Okay. And some super glue for my medical kit, because you guys were saying that works for that. If you have to close a open wound and you don't have a bandage, I mean, or sutures.
The Penguinsman just said, I'm anti-Hollywood, and I haven't been happy with a lot of Hollywood for quite a long time, and now letting Robert Lee, who's Asian,
I saw that on Fox.
Letting him go because his name is Robert Lee, due to political correctness. They've just gone so far overboard with it. And, I'm a Christian. I believe in loving people, things like that. And I wouldn't try to do anything to offend people, but just me being Christian offends some people. So I'm not going to apologize for that.
Doesn't offend me. Christian people saved my life. They drove me to Christian people stopped it when I was like in trouble at the side of the road, and they drove me to my doctor's office. We called an ambulance and they took me to the ER. If it wasn't for 2 Christians, I'd be dead. So, but I'm happy being Jewish, but it's like it's with regard to the whole Southern thing. I'm watching Gone with the Wind. That's 1939. It won 10 Oscars, but I wonder if that would be at all politically correct. I mean, Scarlett O'Hara has, her Aunt Mammy character, played by a very famous black actress at the time. And but there's some racial stereotypes in there. But I mean, it was the South, and in the Civil War, there was a lot of racial stereotypes.
There's racial stereotypes in everything. I see racial stereotypes with a lot of the black community. Hey, Jeep things. I see racial stereotypes with a lot of the black community, like stereotyping white people too. There's stereotypes.
It all sucks.
Out there, and it's lousy, and it shouldn't be.
When you encourage racial violence, when you encourage violence based on a person's race, that's what the Nazis did, So it's wrong. Which brings up another movie and DVD that I got besides Gone with the Wind, Lone Survivor. That had a kind of blew apart, the Islamophobia racial stereotype. If you watched it all the way through, that movie, The Lone Survivor, is about I don't know, was it 8 Navy SEALs on a mission around a Taliban-held town in Afghanistan, and what happens is a grandfather and 2 of his children kind of wander out of sight of town into where they're operating, and the SEALs come across them. And one of its grandfather has one very young child who is obviously not a soldier, and his other child is older and is definitely, they could just tell by looking at him, he's a Taliban soldier, and by the look in his eyes, even though he's not, geared up, he's just out walking with his grandfather. So they have to make a moral decision and decision whether, okay, they have 3 choices. They tie them up, and then they go on their way and leave them there, in which case they will all 3 probably freeze in the mountains at night, or they let them go, in which case there's like 1,000 Taliban in the village, and they'll have to, these 7 guys or 8 guys are going to have to fight 1,000 Taliban, which isn't a good idea, or they just kill all 3 of them. And right there, and obviously the grandfather doesn't understand English, but he kind of figures out what they're talking about. And after a lot of argument, the commander says, "This isn't a debate. Our operation security has been compromised. We're cutting them loose. We're going to let them go, and we're going to book up to a ridge where you can get a signal and extract out of this area." So they go up the ridge. They can't extract because they can't get a signal, and they have 1,000 Taliban in their lap. And at the end of the movie, though, there's one survivor after a firefight, and the part that it has to do with racial stereotypes and like Islamophobia, for example, is when at the end of the movie, the last survivor is really injured, and the Taliban are closing in on him, and just another Afghan from a local village sees the American and offers to help him. And the American doesn't know who to trust because every other Afghan has been shooting at him for like the last days, 24 hours straight. So, but he doesn't really have much of a choice, so he goes along with him. And the Afghan takes him to a village, and the villagers in this other village decide that, okay, he's their guest. And there's this Pashtun tradition called, I think it's Pashtun Wali, and it's kind of like it's their responsibility to care for their guests. And he was their guest. So the Taliban come to find the American, and they shoot it out with the Taliban. And but so this whole village is fighting to save this American because that's just their traditions of he was their guest. They brought him to be safe because he was injured, and the Taliban want to come in. So they fight off the Taliban, I mean, as long as they can, and then, eventually the Americans come in and save the day. But because he gets he takes out the map, and he writes a note on it and gets somebody to deliver it to a U.S. base. So there's good people all around the world.
Absolutely. And the thing is that
and if you could run into a good person, and this is a true story. This is a true story that actually happened.
Yeah.
And so if you can run into good people in the middle of a war zone in Afghanistan, or on the side of a road in Hawaii, or anywhere, there's good people out there. But yeah, we're in trouble. There's a lot of bad stuff happening too.
Oklahoma, what were you going to say?
Hey, I click on Start Hangouts on Air, and it takes me to another page, and it says I am not authorized to broadcast. Is it just telling me I have to wait until the time expires?
I've had that happen to me occasionally, but I haven't had it happen to me in about a year, but it has happened before. It's a Google problem. It sounds like a Google problem. I would say just, if you're on your home computer, which I know you're not, but if you were, that you always do your Hangouts from, but I don't know if you've ever done a Hangout before. I would say just wait a week or wait a day and try it again.
That's ridiculous. It just says I'm not authorized to start this call.
Yeah, I've had that message before. Have you, Orly?
I've had that message one time before. I don't know. I think that Google's changing so much stuff up. It's not letting a lot of people do it. I mean, I'm surprised.
Yeah, there's going to be like a big information clampdown, and Google's part of it, and it's.
Let's start our own. Screw it. Let's start our own channel, our own website. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Well, it takes a lot of hosting power the way to host Hangouts. takes a lot of.
We'll have to check some other ways to do it. We need to be checking into that as a group because we're going to have somewhere else to go because these people over here that just don't stand for what we stand for. And, you know, the Bible says that in the end times, for those that believe in the New Testament, those, you know, the Bible says that in the end times, you know, that what once was called evil is now called good, and what once was good is now called evil, and we're seeing that in our time. And so, you know, we need to be vigilant. We need to be close to the Lord because, you know, no matter what happens, we still need that personal relationship with Him.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, this is a perfect example. I mean, I'm not trying to go all right wing or left wing, or I don't even know the difference, but I'm not trying to go all tin hat on you, but this is a perfect example of the government trying to shut people down that are trying to, I mean, like, really, come on. They already taken down, they already took down somebody's YouTube channel.
They suspended American Homestead's channel, and they told them that they had 1 month to back up all their videos before the channel was completely.
To do what? You're
Well,
kidding.
Nope. And there's channels that Google Ads took all of their revenues from them for so long as well. Paying them what they are supposed to be paying them. So
yeah, there's a new thing on Steemit called DTube, but only video I was able to upload of mine was the chicken at the gas station. It doesn't seem to like 1080p videos for some reason yet, but it's beta and there's no Hangouts or anything. But the difference with DTube is that although I can't load most of my videos on it, the good thing is that it's not on a database where they can delete things at all or demonetize. It's all on the blockchain. The video is actually stored on the blockchain. There's no database for anybody to pick and choose what videos they're going to, you know, try to censor somehow. But it doesn't work on a lot of 1080p so far, and there's no Hangouts. But it's beta. It's a new thing. It's on Steemit.
yeah,
All you need is a Steemit account, and you can post a video on DTube.
yeah. Well, everybody who is interested, just keep your eyes open for another avenue that will need to be going down sometime in the near future. So, no matter what, we can all keep in touch over on D2 or on Steemit. Censorship is just one of those things that, you know, like I said, the Bible said that all things that were once called good are now called evil, and vice versa. So it's just sad.
It's like I thought macaroni and cheese was good, but Mal says it's evil. So
No, she said boxed mac and cheese is evil.
Oh.
She said make it for yourself.
well, we have to agree to disagree on that one. But what else? I need to rant about one other thing. Oh, right. The one other way that the government is trying to control, like in Hawaii, is like firearms and hunting, is through the hunting regulations and the DLNR. I watched some meetings that were recorded by a local YouTube channel of all the hunters. Because basically the Department of Land and Natural Resources has this meeting where they tell you what their new policies are. And it's open for public comment, but they're really not listening. So all the hunters came there and they just gave them hell for like an hour or two. But they had the police there watching them to make sure no, there wasn't any violence. But what they're doing is the hunters were complaining that the basic problem, for an example, I'll give you like one example. the DLNR is supposed to be protecting the wildlife, right? That's what they do, protecting the native Hawaiian wildlife. And so one endangered species is the Hawaiian owl. And the problem is there was, so they're charged with protecting it. On the Big Island, we had a lot of rains last year, and there was a giant rat swarm. So there was just tons and tons of rats that were birthed last year. So the DLNR dealt with that by using poison. Instead of either getting hunters to get rid of rats or buying a ton of mouse traps and baiting them, they used poison and just baited poison all over the place. And well, guess what the owls eat? The owls eat rats. So they killed off, I mean, they killed off a lot of rats. The owls come down, eat the rats, eat the poison, and all the endangered species owls died last year. And it's like, not only do they, the problem is not only does the government, these employees, basically they don't only not know what they're doing, they don't even know what they're trying to do. You know, they don't know what they're supposed to be doing. They don't know, so they don't know what they're doing as far as how they're doing it, and they don't know what they're supposed to be doing. But they have scientists, and another thing is they had like a court order there's this one endangered bird. And the problem was all the sheep on one of the big mountains here, where all the telescopes are, Mauna Kea, were eating the leaves of the tree that this rare endangered bird needs to feed to stay alive. So this federal judge ordered helicopters and ordered helicopters for aerial hunting with machine guns of all the sheep. So instead of just letting the hunters do it, they pay $800 an hour for a helicopter to fly around with the guy in a machine gun to shoot sheep on the mountain. And well, the hunters in Hawaii, maybe it's not a thing on Oahu, but on the Big Island, the subsistence hunting has been going on since before white people ever got here, before Captain Cook arrived in Hawaii, that people have been subsistence, you know, and so, but DLNR has been closing off every hunting area, and now they're killing off all the game, and they're just leaving it out there to rot, basically. So it's like they, you know, if there's, people were complaining that if there is a war with Korea or somebody, and the inner island barges, like one gets sunk by a submarine or something, and the shipping companies decide not to deliver, you know, I mean, food, then, or anything for the inner island barge, then if they kill off all the game animals to save a rare bird that doesn't exist, it's the people won't be able to already, that it's like they have to go on and apply for government aid for those EBT cards or whatever. Because their game animals are dead, and they're closing off all the areas where the pigs are, and it's like anything. If you do, basically they changed the hunting regs so that any mistake results in asset forfeiture, meaning if you drive out there with your car, you lose your car. You have your firearm to go hunting, or you lose your firearm. Use a bow, they'll take your bow. And it's automatically confiscated, and you lose it right there and then, and you have to go to court and hire a lawyer to try and get your property back. And you're probably going to lose a lot of the time, but some people have won after paying a ridiculous amount of money. So a lot of the locals that have lived here for generations are just, it sounds like they're saying they're mad at science, but they're really mad at just, people in Oahu that have been hired by the state government who went to college somewhere and think they understand environmental science without ever having lived or anywhere on this island, telling them what they can and can't do, and passing these laws and turning all of them into criminals for doing what their families have done for like 10 or 20 generations.
Well, and you look at it, and what's funny is I'm surprised that they're allowing that, because in most places now, animal life is more valued than human life. You know, you're not allowed to disturb an egg, for instance, or whatever, because it can, you know, that is a baby whatever that is, you know, going to be endangered or whatever. And there's all these people save the whales and this and that, but they don't seem to care about human babies. You know, the people who are staunch pro-abortion people, and I'm sorry if I offend anybody, it's just how it is. And it's, Bible says he knew you even in your own mother's womb. So,
but the problem is that even if they're what they're trying to do, what they're doing is actually doing the opposite of what they're supposed to be trying to do, and they're too dumb to know it, and they're they're stupid, they're inexperienced and arrogant. You know, it's like, you know, we're in charge, and so you shut up and you can't do this. And everybody is just so frustrated at the DNR. It's like most of the stuff they passed is against the Hawaii State Constitution with regard to. I mean, those the people that have lived here before, Native Hawaiians, have the right to go hunting, because they've been hunting pigs as part of religious ceremonies, and it says that in the Constitution, but they're saying, screw that, we'll arrest you and take all your stuff. You know, and so they were like at this meeting saying, how about if we come to your house and we just take all your food right off of your table at dinner? Because that's what they're doing to them. And I'm not a subsistence hunter. Yeah. I mean, I've got a hunting license. I do have a hunting license, but, you know, I just have it to go shooting in a hunting area because we don't have a range. If I don't have a hunting license, then yeah, they'll take all my stuff too. And if I'm not wearing blaze orange, they'll take all my stuff and my car. You know, so, and then I guess I have to get a taxi home.
I think you know, they just got it so messed up, and there's so much, you know, there's so much. Anytime you hear somebody saying there needs to be a regulation for this, no. There doesn't need to be any more regulations, whether we agree with certain things or not. You know, the government, that's why the government is as big as it is, and we're as broke as we are. Well, and they take so much of our taxes and keep raising them because they keep regulating stuff. Well, then they have to have people to oversee those regulations. And
well, it's the dumb regulations that are the worst. I mean, it's like there's this one bird that they're trying to relocate into an area where it's a Native Hawaiian bird, but it didn't survive there originally, and it went extinct in this particular area, and there was some on another island, so they're putting it back. They're relocating this bird in the area where it couldn't survive before. and it's just so incredibly stupid. And that's the problem, is that it's not like, no, we don't need no regulations. We just don't need stupid regulations and stupid regulators. And it's if you can get a job for the government after 4 years at a university and get a degree in environmental science, you have no. It's like you're still a cherry. These hunters, okay. the hunters are so much more intelligent than the government workers. It's like they're just on a different level. I mean, and to spend $800 an hour on a helicopter when you could just tell the hunters to go kill them and they wouldn't have to spend any money.
All right, I'm told to say, domo arigato, Mr. Roboto, domo.
Who's roboting? Am I roboting?
No, it's me roboting.
Okay.
That's why they wanted me to say that, so. No, it's me. I guess it's because my bandwidth, but anyway. Yeah, I just feel like, you know, the biggest thing I feel in my spirit right now, as far as preparedness goes, is preparing yourself spiritually. We really need to get back in a relationship with the Lord in a deeper way, in a much deeper way. And, you know, that's the biggest thing that is encourage you. You know, God loves each of us equally. He doesn't love any one of us more. And he wants each of us to just have a personal relationship with him. So, you know, I'd encourage you all to do that. And don't hold off doing it thinking you're going to do it tomorrow or the next day or whenever. Start it right now. So. biggest thing that's on my heart right now is preparing your spirit with the Lord, and spending time with Him and learning His Word. That's going to be the biggest thing for me right now. So that's what I'm trying to work on, and I hope you will too, because I love each of you, and I want each of you to have that personal relationship with the Lord. So anyway, but yeah, like they're releasing, the government's releasing wolves out and protecting the wolves. Well, then the farmers are losing their animals, their cattle and things, and a lot of the times they're not even allowed to protect their cattle. So, or their other animals, their other livestock. So yeah, it's getting to be a big mess. And like I said, I feel like nature is always, these days, put before human life. So.
Well, I think what's going to get put first is bankers, because there's all kinds of economic chaos on the horizon, and.
Have you ever heard Jonathan Cahn? He talks about harbingers.
Not harbingers. I'm not too into the Revelations book. That's New Testament stuff, and I'm Old Testament. So
right.
But,
right. Jonathan Cahn is Jewish, but he does believe that Jesus was the one that God spoke of, that the Torah spoke of. But anyway. It's pretty interesting, and the harbingers, his YouTube channels. I was watching some earlier. There are different harbingers, John Z. There's signs, or foretold things that God has known of, and so. If anybody that's interested can look him up. Jonathan Cahn, Cahn, on YouTube. He speaks about harbingers and stuff. So it's pretty interesting. I'm not trying to shove all of that down your throat, Hawaii. I'm just, for those out there that do believe that Jesus was the Son of God, they can go and look at that if they want and check that out. But yeah, I'm trying to, like I said, get back into the Word and really try to.
Yeah, I've found that I was kind of. It's good to just be yourself mostly. I mean, when I was in the hospital, a rabbi from Kabbat House came and visited me, and I went to their temple in Honolulu and all. But that's an Orthodox temple, and I was not raised Orthodox, so. I really respected what they were doing, but it just wasn't me. But I really, I attended their Passover ceremony and stuff, and it was wonderful. I enjoyed my time there, but I'm not Orthodox, and I won't be Orthodox. So it's like I'm just happy in my own skin. I know where I came from. I know who my grandparents were and what they went through, and so. I'm just happy being me as I am. And for some reason, the way I just feel about it is that, I have like rocks and knives and guns and stuff, but the Lord is my shield,
Absolutely.
All right. Hey, I have a question for Mr. Volcano.
Yep.
Who, me? Okay, shoot.
Yes, sir. You're Jewish, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so maybe you can help me with this. How do I get a DTube account?
What does that have to do with being Jewish?
I don't know. I just thought I'd throw that in there. I'm typing in.
You already have one. The good news is you already have one. You have a Steemit account. That's all you need.
Well, then how do I log into my DTube account?
If you're on your Steemit account, you're already logged in.
But how do I go to dtube.com? Or
you
DTube.com?
can. Yeah, dtube.com.
It's telling me to put in my information. When I do, it says
it says what?
Private hosting key is wrong.
Okay, I'll explain that for you. Don't do this on the air, but when you're off air and nobody's watching, If you go to your you can go to your Steemit account, and under permissions, you have to find the tab for permissions, and it'll have a key for posting, and it'll have a key there, but it's a fake key in case somebody's looking. What you hit is then you hit the button that says show key, and then it'll show you the actual key, and then you copy that, and you have to paste it. I forget where, somewhere on DTube, to basically let DTube know that you have the key, you're the person on the account, so nobody can spoof your channel or your videos. They're yours. So it's all about the permissions key. And remember, the first key that'll show up when you look at the permissions page, that's just a fake number and letters in case somebody is like watching you. You have to be logged. You have to be logged into your Steemit account so you can see the number. So you can hit if you're logged into your Steemit account, when you go to the permissions page, then you can hit the show key button, and it'll actually show you the real key for posting.
Right.
And then you can copy that and paste it where it needs to be. Go to your Steemit account.
Go to your wallet, and then in your wallet, in there it'll show you.
Okay. I don't know.
There'll be a tab that says permissions or something like that, and you click on it.
YouTube is beta. Like I said, I tried to upload all my videos, or not all, but a bunch of them. The only one I could upload was that chicken video. And so maybe it's that it's 1080p, doesn't like to upload or something, but it's beta and they're still working on it. But the good thing about it is it's on the blockchain. There's nobody that if the government took over Steemit, there's no way they could take down videos because it's not on a database. It's in the ether on the blockchain.
I see.
I saw something really odd here a couple of weeks ago. I was going to get Chelsea and meet up at the corner up here, about 7 miles north of us, and this thing was waddling in the road. You know, it was like, it was like big and fat, kind of like a beaver, except for it didn't have a beaver tail. I mean, I thought maybe it was a raccoon, but it didn't have the raccoon head.
Was it a badger?
But it was really odd looking. It was fat. I mean, it looked like a fat raccoon. If it was some kind of a raccoon, but it was fat, low to the ground.
Honey badger? Honey badger?
I don't know. It had a long tail that had short hair on it. It was a short-haired tail.
Yeah, it's probably a badger because we have them over here too. Apparently, they're thicker here than I thought because I've only seen 2 in my life here.
I've never seen a badger here, but that doesn't mean anything. But yeah.
And see, now it's not letting me log into DTube.
I swear.
Well, I don't think there's any login to DTube. You log into Steemit, not DTube.
Well, I go to dtube.video/login, and it's
your Steemit. Yeah, it's your Steemit name and password. So
yeah, see, I put my Steemit password in, and it wasn't that.
That's got the hat on, where you see just his hat is Hawaii Volcano Squad.
Yeah, that's me. Here, I'll make it easy. This is mac and cheese. I'm Hawaii Volcano.
I have him presented since Okahoma and I aren't on camera, so we get to see his hat.
All right, I'll try and make myself look pretty, but it would be better if you were gonna you said nobody wanted to see you if you weren't wearing any clothes, and wrong.
Yeah. What the comedy sketch? Yeah, it's something to laugh at. Muskrat Land, LOL. Let's see. But yeah, I'm sorry that I didn't set up my chat earlier today, but I had actually messaged everybody and told everybody I wasn't going to do a chat because my head's just not been.
It screwed up your resting time.
Oh no, it's okay.
It was Google. It wasn't you. It was Google.
And now it's Hangout.
I was feeling better.
Google is. You ought to sue them for your migraine.
No, I'm feeling a little better. Knocked it down some. Between, you should have seen the handful of supplements and stuff I took earlier to try to help knock it down.
What worked? What seemed to do the trick? You don't know because you took everything?
I took, pretty much everything I had here that I could. Plus, we rubbed oils on my back, essential oils. So I'm not sure which it was, but boy.
Yeah, you've had these for a long time.
28 years. I've had a permanent headache for 28 years.
I wish I knew some way of helping you. I was saying what you should do is try mac and cheese. Maybe that'll work.
Although I love it and it's yummy, it doesn't do anything for the headache. Doesn't make it worse, doesn't make it better. It just is there.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm going to get off here.
We've had a lot of... Okay, Oklahoma.
It was fun making fun of you on the text chat.
Thanks for making fun of me, guys. I appreciate it. And everybody that was out there in chat, again, thank y'all so much for being patient with me and enjoying the chat, enjoying the making fun of me and all that stuff. And all my moderators, thank y'all so much for keeping people in line that I'm pretty sure that didn't need to be put in line.
I think it was just us moderators at the end that were left because
it's okay. We all understand it's happened to every one of us. So every one of us who's done a chat or tried to do a chat, we've all had issues at one point or another. So it's all good.
I'm going to upload a video here in a minute about what happened and now why Hangouts is not working. So everybody, thank y'all so much for your help, Willie. I apologize for interrupting your headache relaxation.
Interrupting your headache.
Thank you. But thank you for helping me out. Thank you all so much for helping me out. Hawaii, everybody else, I appreciate y'all so much.
No problem. We love you.
Helping each other is what it's all about.
Yeah, exactly. Y'all have a good night. Stay safe and keep prepping.
All right.
Absolutely. You know, something interesting on the subject of prepping came up when the guy at the end of the building, threatened to burn the place down. Got into a discussion with the resident manager over if I have to load everything into the car because the place is burning down. What do I take first? And he was like, "Get your gold and silver first." It's like, I'll get that last because it'll still be there if the place burns down. It'll just be melted, but it'll weigh the same.
But it'll still be there. Yeah, that's true.
So I was thinking first I would grab the water because I need water. If I'm gonna have to live somewhere else, I'm gonna need water first. So I'd grab my water receptacles, some of which are full, some of which aren't, and I'd load whatever I could. But the thing is, if your place is burning, you only have a truly short time. So I would grab my my bug out bag, my hydration bag, my medical bag, and my little satchel of medications that I take for my heart, and that would go down the car. The next trip, I'd probably get my guns, and that would take like 2 trips, and up and down the stairs into the garden. Then
most likely to be used ones first.
Yeah, and food. Then I'd grab all the Mountain House and canned food if I had time. Yeah, and the ammo would take. I couldn't. If the place was burning, I wouldn't have time to take all my ammo. I would be taking all my ammo would just be tiring going up and down those stairs. Even if I'm carrying down the stairs, it's lead and it weighs a lot. So I was trying to figure out what the order of if I have to rapidly evacuate my place of what it would be.
You will be toast.
I will be toast. Oh, if I have to take, I'm not going to be able to take all my ammo. That would take forever. But if the place is burning, there are videos out there, and you can watch them on YouTube about how fast, like a house at least, will burn down. So you only have a couple minutes to grab stuff, grab and go. My gas mask would be like something I could put on right away, because that's hanging right in the center of my living room over the TV. If there's smoke, I mean, it's not the same as having an oxygen supply type mask that the firefighters use, but it would keep the smoke out of my lungs. And but he didn't wind up burning the place down. The police showed up, and he just basically, his girlfriend or his wife, like, bailed on him and went to Vegas to fool around, and he got depressed and made a video with a gasoline can saying he's going to burn the place down. So,
oh my!
But he didn't. Still standing, for better or worse. And so that's about all the news that's fit to print. I don't know where Dusty's been. He missed 2 of my hangouts in a row.
Yeah, and I missed yours this week too, but I've just been fighting this so much. It like wears you down after a while. And
I know the feeling. Yeah, if you got medical issues, I understand. I mean, I've had medical issues. I missed, I bailed out of all my chats completely when I was in the hospital. So YouTube comes second. YouTube, the internet stuff comes second after your health comes first. So,
yeah, and I've had like times where, like, when the storm systems are coming through, we've had one every couple of days, and that constantly fluctuates the barometric pressure, and that's when it really makes it worse. Yeah, I had a back of my head smacking concrete from a fall of about 6-7 foot up in the air, landing on my head first. So yeah. So, and it damaged that nerve in the back of my head called the occipital nerve. It branches over into the shoulders and up into the head. And
it sounds like you need to see a neurologist to me.
I've seen multiple neurologists. I've had shots in my head. I've had nerve blocks and shots in my neck and back and shoulders and all kinds of different stuff, and nothing helped.
Have you tried Jack Daniels?
I have, yeah. Like, I've drank it whenever I've had like that, because I don't like to just drink all the time. My dad was an alcoholic, and so
yeah, I understand
that demon there. So I every once in a while, usually for medicinal purposes, but yeah, nothing's helped. I mean, some of the highest painkillers will, like, knock it down a little bit, but then I can't function, and it's not worth it to me to put my body through that. So
okay, you want to go full?
That's exactly mine. I have had a headache every single moment of my life for the last 28 years. And the only difference is the severity. It fluctuates in severity. So.
Okay, I want to screen share this chart for Dusty, because I know how much he hates Bitcoin. But this is
Heck yeah.
This is what a good chart looks like. It's like here down here it's 300, and this is October 2000. This is October 2015. It's $300, and here we are, 2017, and it's $4,347. So anyway, that's that.
No pins with me. I don't. Oh. He's talking to Faith. I was going to say, no, I don't live by a cell tower. And I've had this no matter where I've lived. I don't know about Faith, but that's how I've lived. I mean, like I said, it kept amping up as I've gone along, and then I have other health issues as well that I'm trying to get dealt with as well. But
it would be great if there was some cure for what ails you, but I don't know how to deal with it. I'm not a doctor. I'm sure you've tried.
I've tried everything, including a reduction of my chest to see if that would take some of the stress off of my shoulders that might press down on a nerve, and that didn't help either. So, oils is the only thing I've found that can most of the time, unless it's really flared up, most of the time can knock it down to where I can semi-function. But whenever we have storm systems coming in or there's severe heat, there's a few different kinds of weather that it goes works. That's the most of the time it'll help. So at least it brings me some relief to where I'm not like screaming in pain and not able to function at all. So.
Wow. We all wind up on a battlefield. That's what I was saying in my last chat, is we all wind up on some kind of battlefield that we have no idea what it will be, whether it's medical issues, and there are other battlefields in life besides just like a battlefield with rifles and guns and artillery and stuff like that. There's all kinds of battles you have to fight in life, and it's I think you have to be prepared you have to be prepared for the fight, a fight that you can't possibly be prepared for. And I think what matters is your determination to get past it somehow.
Yeah. Well, I have my faith in God, and that's the biggest thing for me is my faith in the Lord, and that He's always there with me no matter what. I have my family and those I love, and little Chelsea Bug is, besides God, she is my little light. She's my inspiration. She keeps me going. She brings a smile on my face even on my worst days. I just love her. She gives me everything. She was stayed the night the other night, and I had to get her up to go to school in the morning, and she was so good. I gave her about 10 minutes to get woke up. For those that don't know, she's 4. She's my granddaughter. And I get her up and I carry her into the living room, and I'm just kind of holding her. And she goes, "You know what, Gigi?" And I said, "What?" And she said, "I love Mrs. Gage," talking about her teacher. First, I thought she was going to say, "I love you." But no, she said, "I love Mrs. Gage." But that's okay. It does this Gigi good to know that she is well taken care of at school, that she's got somebody that's patient with her and good to her and everything else. So I love it. It's
great to have a good school for that's like.
Yeah. Oh, our school that's north of here, there's only a few in each class. Literally, there's only a few students in most every class. Hers has is one of the biggest classes, and there's like a class. And let me tell you, our school has like an A+ rating as far as the school system and the students and the teachers. So we are very blessed for our little community to have such wonderful teachers, and they really do care, and there's a lot of one-on-one there, so that's great as far as the small school.
Yeah, knowledge is one thing. All education and knowledge is one thing that nobody can steal from you. So if you're young, get all you can while you can, and because governments, people, bad people, good people, you can get all kinds of stuff lost or taken from you or confiscated, but education is one thing that they can't steal. So that's why it's so valuable.
Faith abounds. I bet that you probably have the exact same condition I have, because that back of your head is where that occipital nerve goes up into your head and then it branches out. So if you hit it almost in the center of the back of your head, yeah, you probably damaged that nerve just like I did back whenever I was in high school. Especially if you notice, you don't always have to have the pain radiating to one of your arms, but it's usually more on one side than the other that you normally have pain, although you can have pain on both sides of your head. And then a lot of times, since that nerve radiates to your arms, you'll have pain that radiates over to your shoulders. It'll feel like your shoulder is out of place, but it's not. It's just there that is so irritated.
One thing you should teach your kids in relation to what you're talking about is how to fall. It saved me one time when I was a kid, but that's the first thing you learn, if you're taking any martial art, is how to fall correctly. And if you take them every day to their martial art class and they work on that first thing every day as they're growing up, then they'll carry that through them for the rest of their life. One time for me, it was like it made a difference when I was riding my moped into high school and going in like right before the class started and everybody was hanging out in front waiting for the bell, and I was like 1 minute to go and I hit a patch of oil in the school driveway. The back tire of my moped went out from under me at 35 miles an hour or whatever, and I wound up I just had to jump off the bike so it wouldn't land on me, and I just wound up doing a somersault at 35 miles an hour, and I just barely got my hands out in front of my head. And everybody applauded when I got up, but it was like my hands just barely went out over my head, and I didn't have any control except I was just in the position where my head couldn't be hurt, and the momentum carried me over, and I think I did like 5 somersaults in a row, and like so fast it was unbelievable, and then I rolled out of it, and it was, because all that karate when I was a kid, but.
Oh my gosh. Well, I was getting out of the back of a pickup truck. Yes, this makes me definitely sound like a hick. I was getting out of the back of a pickup truck because my friend's brother was going to drive on Main Street with me and my friend in the back of the pickup, and I had just been to a sleepover over at her house or something. Did not have my makeup on. I looked awful. I did not want to ride down Main Street in the back of his pickup truck. So as he was at a stop sign, I was trying to get out, and when she and I both were, and we went to go jump out, and he goosed the truck. I was just pushing off to get down on the ground. He goosed the truck, so it made my momentum go much higher and further, and it flung me back. And the back of my head smacked on the concrete so hard. Oh my gosh, it was awful.
I can imagine. I was just lucky I got my hands out like 3 inches over my head, and when my hands hit the ground, and I just tumbled over so fast. I had no control over anything because I was moving too fast. Only thing I could control is getting my hands up over my head, and that saved me. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then everybody applauded, and when I got up and I scraped the dirt off got my bike. And later that day I was going to class, and like one of the girls said, "Was that you that did all the somersaults in front of the school?" It's like, no, that was somebody else. It was so funny.
Hey, those that pray, please be praying for Wheat Tree Bonsai. She's got storms heading her way. Mouse Toes.
Is that Hurricane Harvey?
Yeah. And then Mouse Toes.
My dad is a hurricane.
And Mouse Toes in South Carolina, she had a twister touchdown, a final touchdown, close, several miles from her home, but still close to her home, too close to call. So they had some rough weather earlier, and last I heard, things were better. She was out of her elevator shaft that she has in her house where she goes for her safe place in the house, and had dissipated and stuff like that. But it was not a forecasted storm that came into them, so it was completely by surprise, and it was very scary, she said. So I was grateful God kept them safe. So, well,
she's a survivor, so I figured she'll be back to install my macaroni and cheese.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Of course she'll be back to insult your macaroni and cheese. That's just what she does. She knows how to throw those insults out. She has to give everybody a hard time. And if she didn't give you a hard time, then that probably means she doesn't like you very well. So
inside you'll find tons of happy childhood memories, tons of blissful smiles, and our delicious elbow macaroni waiting to be covered with gooey, cheesy goodness.
Well, guys, we've had a good random chat tonight. I'm sorry I didn't prepare anything for you. I wasn't expecting to do a chat, but I've enjoyed it. I mean, you guys.
You got to hear me rant.
What's a week without listening to a Hawaii rant, right, guys?
Yeah, I got nothing for my Monday show left. I'll have to actually come up with a subject. I was thinking of doing favorite war movies, but I don't know. We'll see.
I'm sure you'll figure something out. I'm going to work. I haven't decided. I'm thinking about communications or comms for next week, but I'm not sure yet. If you guys have an interesting prepping related topic that you would like me to discuss, put it in the side chat below or to the side before you leave, or if you watch this afterwards, put it in the comment section below. Anyway, thank you guys so much for coming. And Faith, if you give me your address, I'll get you some of the cream that I use, and also get you some an essential oil blend. See if it'll knock down your pain some. I'm curious to see if it will. Hopefully it will. We'll just be praying that it will. Anyways, we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for coming.
God bless.
I love you all. Bye, guys.